Good. Then, as a next step, we have Swadhistana chakra. There is another lotus placed inside Sushumna at the root of the genitals of a beautiful vermilion color. On its 6 petals are the letters Ba, Pa, Ma, Ya, Ra, La, with the binder superposed of the shining color of lightning. Within it is the wide, shining, watery region of Varuna, of the shape of a half moon, and there, seated on a makara, is the bija vam, stainless and white as the autumn moon. So inside of you, there is not only that cave where there is that treasure with that immense glittering snake guarding the treasure that you have to overcome by means of awareness and concentration. No, within you there is also an ocean at night. And over that ocean at night shines the autumn moon, so the silver moon of the autumn, very, very beautiful. So shines the autumn moon. It's a crescent moon, by the way. So it's a very thin moon shining at night. So it's the first rays of light somehow that shed their light on this ocean. And inside that ocean, on the shore of this ocean, lives the makara. The makara is a sea monster. So the makara is some kind of weird mixture of a crocodile, a shark, a pulp, or something else. So it's basically, it's a sea monster. And it's also white and shiny. So and that sea monster represents all of those things in your subconscious of which you're not aware of. And because they live in the darkness of your dreams, you are scared of them. Just like you are scared of the dark waters, do not want to jump inside, because you do not know what's underneath. Doesn't necessarily mean that there is something bad in the dark waters, but the mere fact that you do not know what is there, just like you do not know what exists in the dreamscape, makes you afraid of them. This also unmasks the nature of fear. The nature of fear is the mind's reaction to that thing that you cannot understand. You're always afraid of that it's beyond your grasp. Okay? That's why death is scary. This is why the night is scary. Yeah, this is why the dark ocean at night is scary. And this is why there is the makara inside. So what does the ocean symbolize? The ocean symbolizes the emotions and the feelings and the landscapes of your subconscious. The oceans of the dreams. So the dream sphere within you. May Hari, who is of the greatness of his early youth, whose body is of a beautiful luminous hue, who is dressed in yellow raiment, is four-armed and wears the symbol of all creation and the most precious gem, protect us. It is here that the Rakini always dwells. She is of the color of a blue lotus. The beauty of her body is enhanced by her uplifted arms holding various kinds of weapons. She is dressed in celestial raiment and ornaments, and her mind is exalted with the drinking of ambrosia. So we are talking about the mandala now here, yeah? He who meditates upon this stainless lotus, which is called Swadhistana, is freed immediately from all of his enemies. So, Swadhistana means, by the way, one's own abode, because the dream landscape inside of you, the dream state inside of you, is that place where you form the identities about what you are deep inside of you, the feelings that make the quality of who you are, your flavors, how you taste like, your grumpiness, your beauty, your scaredness, your power, like all these feelings of the lower vital, you could say. The dreams, they form the very framework of yourself. And by concentrating on Swadhistana chakra, so by concentrating on that lotus and meditating about them, the dream sphere within you, so the dream state within you is transformed. That transformation of the dream state leads to the overcoming of your enemies. Who are your enemies? The enemies are the afflictions of your mind and being. Because, as a matter of fact, the whole world that you experience is created by your mind. I give you an example that is very interesting. It's a very practical example. One day at home, it was actually, I remember even in which context it was the first correction of my book that I made. And I had printed my book, very first book, as a teacher training manual, and I wanted to make corrections. And I had learned that corrections I usually do with a red ballpoint. However, I didn't have a red ballpoint at home, which didn't feel so good for me. I wanted to have a red ballpoint. So I was looking for a red ballpoint in my flat, and I couldn't find a red ballpoint. So I used a normal Kugelschreiber, blue, to make the correction book. But I really wanted to have a red ballpoint. And I was really thinking about, where's a red ballpoint? I do not know where a red ballpoint is. And then I had to go out of my house, to, I don't know, do something. But I already had forgotten about the red ballpoint. It was just upsetting that I didn't have a red ballpoint, because corrections you do with a red ballpoint. So I went out on the street and I walked around, and suddenly during the day, I was walking during the day, and in the corner of a house, I was walking there, just looking at the corner of a house was a red ballpoint. So I went to a red ballpoint, great, picked it up, And then I realized something. I realized that my mind, so my subconscious mind, was scanning the whole day for red ballpoints. Like wherever I looked for red ballpoints, all the time. Even I wasn't aware, but it was at that moment that red ballpoint came into my sphere of vision. It was immediately my mind zoomed in. It wasn't like some object, that's there, because usually there are everywhere objects laying around. The world is full of things. People throw things everywhere. It's like this red ballpoint. It was like it was almost as if the ballpoint would catch me when I walked along the street. It was boom, came into my mind, and zack, I went there. So this says something about the nature of the mind. Even when you're not aware of what you do, your mind has actually a form, and you with your desires, with the desires that you have inside yourself, you set out the mind to complete certain tasks for you. And the mind completes them for you. It's interesting, he also completes these tasks independently from your conscious knowledge about them. So you can set out your mind to do something, and the mind will work through that thing till you have the desired result. So just like with me, I am working and I'm just walking, and I discovered a red ballpoint that apparently I must have looked for the whole day. So I didn't even look for the red ballpoint at that moment I discovered it. No, I looked also 5 minutes and 10 minutes and 15 minutes for the red ballpoint, everywhere. However, I couldn't find it. But that was the moment I found it. And maybe I saw blue ballpoints also and black ballpoints on the way, but I didn't react to them. Because, by the way, they're much more frequent. And apparently, I did also see them, but I didn't recognize them consciously. Just at that moment, the red ballpoint was there, all the signals, all the pathways in my mind fired. That's a red ballpoint, that's what you're looking for. So what does it say about you? It says about you that the world you experience and the world you have around you is the creation of your mind. You see, you are constantly, you're filled with the information that flow in you all the time, and you navigate this information. And you also know what people are. When you look in the faces of people, you know the intentions of people. You know if they're evil or if they're good. You know if people can help you or not. You know what people feel. You know all of these things. And your mind navigates the reality around you according to your impulses, according to your dreams. These dreams that are inside of you can be a conscious choice, like I need a red ballpoint, but they also can be all other kinds of dreams, and you navigate the reality according to that dream. This is extremely important to understand, because there is an infinite possibility out there in which reality can manifest itself. And your mind is navigating that reality to supply you with that experience that you're aiming for. So who are your enemies? Your enemies are those desires within you that push you into situations that are difficult for you, that you perceive as adversarial. Yeah? You're coming into an adversarial situation where some person is not good for you, or something is not good for you. And that situation you're in is, to a certain degree, your mind navigated you there. If you want it or not, that is the truth, because the mind knew. It cannot be otherwise. Because you know what people are, you know what situations are, you know what the world is. Deep inside of you, you know. If you find yourself somewhere, it means that you went there. Yeah? Because there is this combination between the subconscious and also the superconscious. And both of these elements work according to your will, but on different levels. You could say the superconscious that was above your mind works in accordance with the desires of your soul. The subconscious works in the accordance with the desires of your lower vital. Okay? So the lower mind that scanned the whole day the world for ballpoints was that part of my mind that works in accordance with my lower vital. But you also have that superconscious that works in accordance with the higher goals of your life. When does that superconscious shows itself? It shows itself in intuitions, telling you maybe today you don't go there, or maybe today you go there and you see what happens, and then amazing things happen to you. Yeah? This is sometimes that impulse within you that is also a part of your mind. However, it's not your conscious mind. So there are these elements. So no, how do we overcome your enemies? We overcome our enemies by meditating on the ocean at night, which is Swadhistana chakra, at the Makara, seated at the shore of that ocean, glittering in that moonlight, which is that creature that protects all our dreams. And we are meditating on the dream state, penetrating that dream state with the power of our awareness, sinking into it. And in that way we're overcoming the enemies of ourselves, which are lust, greed, delusion, pride, envy and egoism. So which are those things that make you, push you into suffering, because they are deluded, because they do not know what things actually are. These desires, the nature of these desires is the fact that they are not entirely clear about what forms, what is reality. Yeah, envy, egoism, and delusion, pride and greed, they do not know what the world is. Yeah, they do not know what they themselves are. Then, if you overcome them by meditating on Swadhistana chakra, you become a lord among yogis, and you are like the sun illuminating the dense darkness of ignorance. So ignorance is overcome, because Swadhistana chakra is the seat of ignorance. Yeah? You could say Muladhara chakra is the source of ignorance insofar as it is the source of the limited existence, body, it is complete darkness. But since there is no self in Muladhara chakra, so there is no self-awareness, it is not reasonable to say that Muladhara chakra is the seat of your personal ignorance. Muladhara chakra is the condition of being bound, out of which ignorance arises. And that ignorance arises within the individual that has a perception of itself, and this is Swadhistana chakra. There is a self, and that self is ignorant. Within that condition of Muladhara, within the condition of the physical, within the condition of being limited by time and space, there exists that consciousness which is ignorant. Yeah? And this is overcome by means of concentration. And then, of course, in the ṣaṭcakranirūpaṇa, the wealth of his nectar-like words flows in prose and worth in well-reasoned discourse. Again, the power of speech. Because whenever a chakra is transformed, you could say, the power of speech is awakened. This is Kundalini. Kundalini is the power of speech. Very good. So Swadhistana is the dream state of consciousness. Swadhistana is desire. Swadhistana is prana. Swadhistana is vitality. Transformed Swadhistana is the power of vitality. The exercises that awaken Swadhistana are, of course, foremost concentration on Swadhisthana chakra, and secondly, everything that awakens vitality, also the preservation of primary vitality. Vajrayogini mudra, for example, the mudra where you contract the genitals, but also all dynamic exercises and exercises where breath is in the foreground, where you breathe deep and you move your arms, you move your chest, where you have that movement of breath. Okay? The movement of breath is also that what is Swadhisthana chakra. Let's look at Swadhisthana Kriya.